Vista Equity Partners' Robert Smith is one of the world's richest people with a $6 billion fortune, and he has pioneered an increasingly popular way to free up some of that treasure. Bloomberg's Tom Metcalf now joining us from London. So I want to get your sense, Tom. What exactly is he doing to free up this cash?
Yeah, so he's pioneered this really interesting trend that's spreading through private equity. Basically what they're doing, private equity founders that is taking a minority stake of their firm, be it Vista Equity in Robert Smith's case or Platinum Equity in Tom Gore's, and effectively selling that on to bulk buyers. Some of these names may be familiar: Dyal, Blackstone, Goldman Sachs. And basically those buyers are just trying to get a slice of the private equity returns that these firms are seeing, whether it's management fees, carried interest. And this is really causing an explosion in the sort of the value of the fortunes of these private equity tycoons. People like Robert Smith, who's on the screen right now, he's been able to sort of monetize some of this wealth that's locked in his firm and become one of America's most prominent philanthropists. He's bought plenty of property. So it's kind of spreading across the whole industry as people look at people like Smith and go, hey, this seems like a great way of boosting our fortune.
Yeah, and on the flip side, there's an increasing interest in investing in private equity firms, even from other private equity firms saying we're going to take a stake in one another in order to juice returns. Who's been sort of the most active on the buying side? Do you have any idea, or do you have any idea of how much more active this market has gotten recently?
Yeah, well, so the sort of poster child on the investing side for this is really Dyal Capital. So, you know, maybe 10 years ago, they started to shift from investing in hedge funds into private equity. And they've really led the charge in terms of they've done certainly the most deals. And in terms of the overall market, it's really gone from basically nowhere a decade ago, one deal maybe a year. Now you're seeing something like 20 deals a year. And someone like Dyal, they've just gone out and raised an $8 billion fund precisely to invest in private equity firms, and they've already pretty much committed or spent most of that money. I
do have to wonder how much this sort of shifts who's in charge and who's got sort of the most at stake. I mean, with a lot of people getting out, and I'm just wondering, are there other private equity titans that have been involved in selling some of their stakes?
Yeah, so it's pretty much all the big names you'll be familiar with have probably done it. This is a firm called New Mountain Capital, and their founder Stephen Klinsky, they sold a stake off to Blackstone. You've got Silver Lake, the big tech investor. They sold stakes. You've also got HIG in Miami. So pretty much a lot of the big names, albeit not the ones that have obviously gone public, like KKR or Blackstone itself. But otherwise, if you're kind of a successful private equity firm, you're certainly having these conversations, and a lot of them have already sold minority stakes.